We are streaming. Let's get the Instagram stream. Cool. Howdy, 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 everybody. We're going to get this show going, everybody. Hold up. All right. All right, let's get that. Give it a second, everybody. I think we're going to jump into it. Happy Sunday, everybody. Getting the Instagram stream going, everybody. We're going to get this one going, so should be a really good time. This is taking a minute. What the heck? Give me a second. It's not what we want. Give me a second. Okay, let's go live. I wanted this Instagram one to go. Come on, everybody. Give me a second. It's always finicky figuring it out. Okay, let's try this again. Let's turn it off. Go to edit. All right, got that in. Cool. Trying to get the Instagram stream going really quick, everybody. Yes, save. There we go. Yeah, we're doing a vintage board today, everybody, so this should be pretty cool. There we go. All right, we just getting the Instagram stream going. It's always kind of finicky. Hello, friends. We're going. All right, we're live here on Twitch. We're live on Instagram, everybody. I think we're going to get this show going. So, all right, everybody. We were going to do this. We were going to do a Cherry MX build with the MM Class 65 V3. I didn't realize I have enough stabilizers. I realized I ran out of Cherry MX stabilizers from all the builds we've been doing. So I'm like, well, we'll do something else that's been waiting in the queue to get built. So we're doing this puppy today. So we're going to be doing a vintage board restoration, and we'll do the MM Studio and some other stuff later on. But all right, folks, we're going to be doing a vintage Alps restoration. We're going to do a really cool build today. We're going to be doing Northgate Omnikey, but what's cool is we're going to be doing our first Northgate Omnikey 101. And this is a Northgate Omnikey 101N, so it has an 8K navigation cluster, which is going to be really sick. So I'm a big fan of 8K boards, which is really awesome. So we'll kind of go through what's been done to this board over the past few weeks. So all the plastic was thoroughly scrubbed. So the plastic has been pretty cleaned up. This wasn't very yellowed, so this is actually really good condition. Top case, there were some cracks in the corners right here, so we added some super glue. And that should hold everything together for many more years to come. So this top case has been cleaned, which is really nice. The bottom case was thoroughly scrubbed down, and now it looks nice and pretty again. Same thing with the keycaps. Keycaps were in really good condition, so we got these keycaps all scrubbed up and nice and clean. And then also the plate was pretty rusted and in pretty bad condition, so sanded it down, refinished it, and now it has a nice new coat of paint on it. And this plate will be nice and protected for many more years to come, which will be really nice. And then, of course, our PCB, which is looking really cool. This PCB also has been fully cleaned and fully restored. It looks nice. I really enjoy these old school Northgate Omnikey PCBs. So, and this PCB cleaned up pretty good. So it's ready to get put back together. We have some switches to switch protocols, which is awesome. And of course, we have our cable too. So this is an attached cable board, so like my Northgate Omnikey 102. So we'll be using that to clean up everything. So this is going to be a really cool build. We're going to put the PCB and also the case to the side because we're really not going to be working with these until the very end. So I want to prep my plate and put in my stabilizer components for this particular keyboard. So that's going to be really cool. So let me grab my stabilizers. Where the heck are you? There we go. Stabilizer parts, that screw hardware over there. So we're gonna get it going, everybody. But this is a cool board. This is a board I've had for a couple of weeks. It just kind of takes time tearing down the boards, cleaning up the components, cleaning up everything. But this is the thing with Alps. They very much, you just gotta take your time and be patient with the restoration process. But they come out, these boards come out really, really nice. And I have one more Northgate Omnikey that's in my restoration queue. I just have to refinish the plate, and we should be pretty good to go there, which will be awesome. So I'm going to pull out another one of these kind of stabilizing posts here, and we'll get this one in. So we're going to use this stabilizer post. This is going to be for a big ass enter. So we got that post right there. I'm going to put these stabilizing posts for our space bar, which is going to look really nice. So this is a really cool build, a really cool board. I'm really excited for this particular build. I've just been really, really looking forward to getting the whole Northgate Omnikey line, which has been really cool. We got some cool boards that came in. I got a couple Apple extended keyboards. Nah, you're good, my man. That's all good. But yeah, it's I think a really good time. Like, these are really, really sick builds that we're doing. So we're doing a Northgate Omnikey. I got a couple Apple M3501s in, which are really clean. I got them for like $40, but they're really clean. Part of the reason I got these because I finally got some M3501s that I'm going to be restoring, not harvesting. So I got the ivory one. I got a white ivory one. So we'll be restoring these probably the next, I say, 2 or 3 weeks. So those are going to be really cool, rounding out my, further building up my vintage Apple collection. I want to show something that we got in yesterday, which is also super, super sick. So let me grab it. And yeah, I want to show this one off because this one is super, super cool, everybody. Look at this one. So we got an IBM Battleship in yesterday. So our first buckling springboard. So this is a super, super sick board. This board was made in March of 1997. So this is much later in the IBM production run. But we're definitely going to be restoring this board. I probably will have to bolt mod it, depending. I feel some switches feel kind of weird, but we're going to kind of tear it apart or probably tomorrow and figure out how the heck to approach restoration on this board, but it looks really, really cool. This is going to be a really cool restoration project. So that's just something we're going to be doing in the future, everybody. So yeah, IBM Battleship for sure is going to be like a super, super sick build. So that's what we're going to do. So yeah, we're putting in just kind of our stabilizer components here. So let me get my little spudger and we'll start putting in our clips. I like putting these on and then we'll solder in our switches. And, of course, test all the switches and whatnot, and we'll make sure everything is going good there. So, yeah, but this is a really cool board. This is, again, our first Omnikey 101, which is really nice. And I also have an Omnikey Plus that's in my restoration queue. So we'll get the Omnikey Plus built probably after Thanksgiving, folks. So it'll probably be a couple of weeks before we see the next Omnikey restoration. But I'm trying to collect the whole Northgate Omnikey line. There's a total of 10 of them. That I have identified. So there's 2 Northgate Omnikey 102s. I have a 101i, a 101p, and then there's the standard Northgate Omnikey 101. So that's kind of what we're doing in terms of collecting all of them. So, but yeah, these Northgate Omnikeys are really sick, and by far my favorite vintage Alps board. Their build quality is like top tier, and they're just excellent, excellent boards. So if you're into vintage stuff or you really like Alps, like definitely consider tracking down a Northgate Omnikey. These things are outstanding. Like I freaking love these boards. Hence why I have 5 of them. So, and we're going to be putting Pine White Alps in here. This board, these Pine Whites have been fully restored. And then that's this. I figured with my Northgate Omnikeys, I could switch swap them and put something maybe like a tactile or other types of switches. What's up, Welvin? But I figure with these types of boards, I want to keep them as original as possible and have the original switches in them. So for these Northgate Omnikeys, pretty much all of them except my Gold Badge Northgate Omnikey are going to be getting Pine Whites. The Northgate Omnikey Gold Badge has Blue Alps, which is my favorite of my Omnikeys because Blue Alps are my favorite switch from the Alps lineup. What's up, Welvin? So yeah, Welvin, we're putting the same switch. We're not doing my 101. We're not doing my Omnikey Plus. This is going to be my Omnikey 101N. The Omnikey Plus, I still have to refinish the plate. I've just been so busy. I haven't had time to take the time to like refinish that plate. So, and also Thanksgiving. This is a busy week with Thanksgiving. So it'll probably be a couple more, probably 2-3 more weeks before we get that board put back together and fully restored. Everything else is done on that board. It's literally just the plate has to get thrown back together. So, but I can't wait to do that one. But also similar to like the Omnikey Plus, the 101N has an 8K navigation cluster, which is super sick. I love 8K boards. They're just such a fun layout, and they're very unusual compared in our modern keyboard landscape, where you have the normal T cluster and your normal navigation cluster. So it's kind of unusual in today's modern keyboards landscape, but it's really cool. really cool just kind of seeing these and just kind of getting this board back together. So there we go, folks. So we have that kind of filled in, which is really nice. We have all of our kind of stabilizer clips. So I'm going to put our other stabilizer parts away because we're not really going to do those until we're done with soldering and done with testing. So I'm going to put the rest of my stab parts away. So all my wires and my clips that go on the keycaps, we're going to put those away back in our little baggie and put this stuff away. So, and then we'll start getting ready to start soldering in switches, which is going to be super sick. So, all right, so let's put that away. Let's grab my PCB, and then let's also grab some switches and kind of put some switches in. So that's what we're going to do. So let's dump out some switches. Oops. One stabilizer part that didn't get going. But yeah, it's going to be a good time. This is going to be a really cool build. And then I'll kind of show off the 4 Omnikeys together once we're kind of done with this one. Because these Omnikeys are absolutely awesome. So I friggin' love these things. So we're going to do our kind of stabilized keycaps in our 4 corners. Oh, come on. All right, come on. Get in there, you stupid switch. There we go. So we're just kind of putting in our stabilized keys. There we go. Getting it going. And then we'll also put some keys in for the 4 corners as well, just to kind of hold stuff in place. So we'll get one for our escape up here. We'll do one for our way the heck over here, and then over here, just to kind of hold it all in. And then we'll solder these buggers on. I think that'll be good to kind of hold us in, hold everything together. I'll put one up here too, just to kind of solidify these. These ones I really just want to get solidified. And also I want to get my big ass inner out, because this post is kind of a nightmare to line up. So I want to make sure everything's lined up on that. Where the heck's my big ass inner? There it is. My favorite keycap, by the way. Yeah, dude, I feel you, man. It's like I'm a teacher too, so like we're in like the home end stretch of the of our semester. So like my middle school kids, like we wrapped up one of our units, and then when we come back from Thanksgiving, we're gonna do our final unit of the semester, and then wrap into finals for like this fall semester, which is just kind of crazy. So definitely feel, as a teacher, I definitely take teacher in my day job. Definitely feel that like struggle and whatnot. I'm just gonna have the big ass enter because lining up that post is always kind of a nightmare. So we just want to make sure that gets all lined up. But this plate came out super sick. So again, I paint my plates black on my Alps restorations. But Welvin, I freaking loved how your your Omnikey Plus came out. That thing looks sick. I can't wait to I'll be mailing the switches out that you need on Monday. So you should have those I'd say right after Thanksgiving, because I know shipping may be a little slower because we got Thanksgiving this week. But yeah, it should be good. So speaking of Thanksgiving, if you are here in the United States, again, I hope you have a great Thanksgiving. Again, it's one of my personal favorite holidays, so it should be a good thing. Oh yeah, dude, school struggles are great. It's like, it's weird. Like, I'm out of school, but like in a way, I never left. So that's just how it goes, unfortunately. So I'm just making sure that's all lined up. Perfect. Yeah, I'm gonna fire up the soldering iron. Let's move my phone out of the way. Hello, phone. So there we go, friends. Let's get that soldering iron fired up. Let's get my solder lead out of here, and we'll kind of get going. But yeah, dude, it's going to be good. Absolutely, dude. And I'm excited to see your board, dude. I really want to see the final product of what it looks like, because, again, it will give me an idea of like how awesome my 101 is going to look. My 102 Plus, or my Omnikey Plus is going to look. So, I mean, yeah, it was a kind of shame the first Omnikey Plus that I got was just a total loss. I was so bummed. Like, it was such a good deal. Sometimes I've just kind of learned if it's too good to be true, it probably is. Like, I've dealt with some pretty clapped boards that are worth saving, but that board was just absolutely destroyed. Like, it was legitimately, like, in wet dirt in, like, a garden in the sun. Like, there was literal, like, wet dirt inside the case. Like, there was, like, dead bugs. It was just, everything was destroyed, and the plastic had been in the sun for probably a few years, and all the plastic was brittle and just, like, disintegrated in my hand as I was, like, gently handling it. So it was a shame, because I really don't like just throwing boards out like that. But that board, there was no saving that board, unfortunately. that was like a really kind of sad thing. So with that board, so got that one soldered in just for the big ass enter. Let's get our vent going. Let's get cool. Ah. Yeah, so we're just kind of doing one pin on each corner to get these ones going. But yeah, this PCB is gorgeous though on these. So like that's the one thing I do love about these Omnikeys. Like they're extremely well built, and they use again like top quality components on these boards. So everything about these boards is just excellent. And again, there's a reason Omnikeys are very sought after within vintage spaces. These are outstanding boards. And I love them, and I can't wait to have all of them eventually. Gotta catch them all, I guess, to quote Pokemon. Just kind of soldering in different ones that I need. There we go. Cool. Making sure those are good. There's a pin up here you want to get. Make sure that one's pushed in. Awesome. Cool, that one's all good. Awesome. Just getting these all going. Cool. Looking good on that side. Let's move over here. We'll get our escape one right here. Awesome. But this one didn't get properly seated. Cool. Let's make sure that one gets properly seated. Awesome. Just making it cool. Yes, it does have barrel stabs on the spacebar. All Omnikeys use that because on Northgate Omnikeys use Focus Electronics keycaps, and the Focus Electronic keycaps have the barrel stabilizers on the spacebar. So, and again, the keycaps on Northgate Omnikeys and Focus Electronics boards I freaking love. That's my favorite vintage keycap set. So. And it's nice because the keycaps are relatively affordable, and the boards they come on are easily to find. But it's just a really good keycap. It's high quality double shot ABS, which really resonates. ABS sounds fantastic with Alps. So and let's get our spacebar in, and we'll have these kind of starter ones on here. Awesome. Cool. Alright, let's push that in, move that to the side. So yeah, we'll flip it around and I'll show you the barrel stabs that are on this one. So we have the barrel stabs for the spacebar. And then we also have... There we go. Sorry about that. We also have a barrel stab here on the big ass enter. So All right, so I had to put that in there because it's for alignment. Sometimes it's kind of a pain in the butt. So take our big ass inner off and put that to the side. We'll deal with that later. But yeah, there we go, folks. And it's cool. On this one, we have these switches on the bottom. So one thing that's nice about Northgate Omnikey is you can switch between different protocols and also, depending on the model, different layouts, which is really cool. So these would be allow you to switch to different protocols, which I think is really, really cool. So, all right. So we're going to start. I want to look. There's a couple switches we want to put in. Someone's going to dump them out because we're going to use most of these switches today. Yeah, I got a new batch of Pine Whites restored, so I figured we might as well do this one. There's some ones where the pads are kind of fragile, so we want to take care of those first. And then over here, we want to take care of that pad. So that's fragile. There's the other pads that just didn't come out the way I wanted to. Yeah, sometimes when we clean up the PCBs, some of the pads come off or partially come off, so we just want to make sure we get those first. So I haven't screwed up pads enough where I have to like get something professionally soldered. I mean, I did break a board, which is fun. So yeah, I broke a client that Zeos full size that my client got for $1. Oh, I mean, crap, Welvin. If you want these, I can mail you some. I have a metric crap load of these barrel stabs, so if you want some, I can send them to you. Like I have a crap load of them. So I'll when I send your switches out, I'll send you a set. I'll send you a couple barrel stabs for the space bar. All right, I think we're good. I'm gonna solder those in really quick, and then we'll get going. But yeah, Welvin, I'll send you a couple barrel stabs. So when I send your switches out, I have a truckload of them. So let me just get these switches in on these. Like these ones have fragile pads that kind of broke off. So we want to get these ones soldered on. Cool. So let's clean off that solder tip really quick. Oh yeah, it's only the wire, but the barrel stabs are nice because it doesn't. Sometimes there's side to side wobble. So the barrel stabs just kind of prevent that side to side wobble. So just making sure we got those, and then we can rapidly start jumping into soldering these puppies. Cool. Let's just press this one in. Cool. Awesome. All right, let's get the rest of our switches inserted, and then we'll start soldering them all in, and then we'll start doing testing. So, but there we go, folks. We got a few of our switches in. Well, we got like 100-something switches we got to do on this one. So this board's gonna be super, super nice. All right, so let's get it going. So we're gonna start filling in our perimeter as we just kind of work our way around the board. But I'm really excited for this board. I got this board through because of a user on Careless's Discord server. So one of the users on Careless's Discord servers had bought some vintage stuff from this eBay seller, and he said, "Hey man, he has a Northgate Omnikey like 101. Like, shoot him a message. He hasn't listed it yet." So I said, "Okay, cool." So I messaged this eBay seller, and I said, "Hey man, like a little birdie told me you have a Northgate Omnikey like 101N. Like, I know you haven't listed it yet. Like, can we like talk price and talk business?" And he said, "Yeah, let's do it." So I talked with this seller, and we kind of figured out, we negotiated a price, and I got this board for a really good price. I got this board for, I think, about $180. There's a Northgate Omnikey 101N on eBay right now. The guy's asking like over $300. So I think I did pretty good on this particular board for the price I got it for. So I'm kind of like there's a couple. I'm pretty close. I'm probably gonna get the two Northgate Omnikey 102s. I'm watching a couple eBay auctions to get those. But the last three Northgate Omnikeys, which are the 101 models, like the standard 101, the 101i, and the 101p, those are really expensive, and I'll have to kind of bide my time and be patient looking for those. Because I think those are the most sought after. Like the standard Northgate Omnikey 101 is like the most sought after because it's the only one that's a standard AT 101 layout with an ANSI enter. It doesn't have a big ass enter, so a lot of people not everyone likes the big ass enter. So that's like the most sought after one. I think that's kind of sad with the Northgate Omnikey 101. A lot of people just get that board to harvest it for keycaps and they throw the board away, which is really sad. So I'm going to be really patient looking for like a Northgate for those once I get these 102s because they're going to be a little bit more expensive for sure. But I've gotten the Northgate Omnikeys. They're like the easy ones to track down. These 101s are going to be kind of a pain in the butt to track down, which is going to be interesting. But yeah, once my goal is to have all 10 of the original lineup of Northgate Omnikeys, and it'll be kind of cool like once I have all 10 of them to go to a keyboard meet and have the complete product line of Northgate Omnikeys. Now the thing that's interesting, the Northgate Omnikey product line actually technically is a little bit bigger than the 10 that I've identified, but I want the ones that are branded and badged Northgate Omnikey because Northgate Omnikey also was an OEM for other people, so some other like computer brands back in the day would like just smack their label on it, and I don't want that. I want the ones that have the Northgate Omnikey badge on them and that's branded like this is their keyboards. So that's what we're going to do. Oh my god, I love this 8K cluster. I love 8K clusters because I have my Omnikey Ultra, which has the 8K cluster, and it's just so cool. It is such a cool layout. Like my Frog TKL is also built with the 8K cluster, and when we get the Omnikey Plus built, like that also has the 8K cluster, which is super sick. So these are really cool boards, and I'm really excited to get them together, which is going to be super awesome. So there we go. Awesome. And then we're getting it together. There we go. Getting these ones in here. So awesome. Oh, careful solder. And let's get the remaining alpha cluster. And then we should be good on this one. So just putting in our modifiers and then we'll get going. Yeah, but these look really clean, really good. And these switches came out really nice. So we have a really nice kind of way that these switches cleaned up and restored, which is really nice. So we're putting pine whites. These are the switches this is the switch type that originally came in this keyboard. I'm not doing any switch swaps with my Northgate Omnikeys. I want them to have the pine whites with the exception of the Omnikey Gold badge that I have, which has blue Alps. I want to put the original switches that came in these keyboards, so I'm not putting any tactile. So all these Northgate Omnikeys are going to have the same switches. I want to just kind of be, for the originality of these boards, I want to have the original switches they came with. And who knows, maybe I can get a Northgate Omnikey in the future and I'll switch swap it to something crazy like Brown Alps or whatever. But for this kind of main line I want to have them as original as possible. I mean, the thing that's not original is, of course, how I've done the plates. Like the original plates were bare steel, but that's not feasible because the plates unfortunately rust on these boards horribly because they didn't coat them with anything. It's just bare steel. So I sanded all the rust off on these plates, and then again we gave them a coat of primer and then a coat of rust-resistant matte spray paint, and it looks really good. So that's the kind of one cosmetic change. And once you have the keycaps on, it's the plate. You're not going to notice it. I could have chosen like a more gray spray paint, but I figured black. I wanted it to blend in. So. And my other 3 Omnikeys look really good with the black plates. So, all right, going in there, folks. Look at that. This one is super clean. I love it. So, there we go. Getting all these switches in here. But yeah, this is a super sick build for sure. Getting all these pine whites. There we go. Boom. All right, one more row, and then we'll start soldering these puppies in. And then we'll start testing, which is going to be the fun part. There we go. Oh, there we go. All right, one more. And then there we go. All right. Came out really good. Let's put these pine whites back in the main jar. There we go. Cool. And we'll see which ones we need to swap out. But there we go, folks. That is a really cool, clean assembly. It also has a really nice weight. I mean, also with these Northgate Omnikeys, the bottom plate, the bottom case is made of steel, and then the plate's made of steel. So that gives these boards a really, really nice weight. These are pretty hefty boards. So, I mean, I'll bring it over here. This is the bottom case. That is steel, which is just awesome. So, and again, we kind of see the back plate too. I also like getting these with the back badges, so you can see the model number. So this is an Omnikey 101N, which is really cool. So, really, really nice board. So, came out really nice. The cleaning process of these boards came out really nice. So, yeah, this board cleaned up fantastic, for sure. So, really, really happy with that one. So let's get the soldering iron going. Let's get my vents. Let's also get a ton of solder lead out because we're going to be soldering in a ton of switches here. All right, let's get it going. All right, cool. Let's get our vent going and let's just start soldering in. And then once we're done soldering, we'll start testing. And then once we're done testing, we'll put switches in. So yeah, I'm gonna start off my numpad. I usually start in the numpad area, just to kind of hold everything together, and we're just going to work our way through. So, awesome. Let's move on over here. Yeah, these are coming pretty good. Yeah, and this board too is actually pretty early for the Northgate Omnikey lineup. This one was made in 1989, so this is a year younger than my my gold badge Omnikey 102. Which has blue Alps, which is really nice. So let's go down here and just to the bottom of the 8K cluster. Cool. Let's wipe off this solder tip right here. Looking good. Nice. That's not good. Good times. Yeah, so this is going pretty good, folks. So we're just going to go up here, do some switches over here. So this is a really cool board. And again, I'm very thankful for the user and Careless server who tipped me off to this board. So we got this for a really good deal. So, and this is a chunky board when we get it together. Got those. All right. Coming along. Awesome. Cool. Those are looking good. All right. Right, awesome, awesome. 8K cluster and numpads coming along. Cool. Awesome. Looking good. So, yeah, we're making some good progress on this one, folks. Nice. Alright. Making some good progress on that 8K cluster, which is looking really good. So, alright. Looking good. Alright. Yeah, we're making some good progress on this one, so. And we're just kind of slowly but steadily going through our 8K cluster, and then also our numpad. Once that's done, we'll go through our main kind of alpha and F-row cluster over here. Yeah, this is a really nice PCB. Nice. Looking good. Awesome. And then we got Last two for our 8K cluster. Numpad's done. Perfect. Cool. 8K cluster and our numpad are done, so that's looking really good. All right, we're gonna do our space bar row now. Nice. Awesome. Let's just wipe off that really quick. Looking good. Awesome. Let's get this one. Cool. Awesome. Looking good, friends. Cool. It's looking really good. Just gonna do this perimeter edge over here. Make sure those are seated. Cool. Awesome. That's going good. Let's do this side. Looking pretty good. Awesome. Perfect. All right, I'm gonna do our F row, and then once our F row is done, we'll just do our main number and alpha cluster, and then we're pretty much done, folks. At least with soldering, at least for the main soldering, we'll still have to test everything and see what has to be adjusted or desoldered or whatnot, but should be fine. Cool. Awesome. Let's do it over here. Gotcha. Cool. Awesome. That afro's almost done. Let's do this one. Looking really good. Looking good, folks. Nice, nice. Oh, nice. Yeah, I don't really dabble with SMK stuff. But I think they're good switches. I mean, overall, I think that's pretty good. And also, my other commenter saying, talking about metal music. Heck yeah, metal music is my favorite genre. But yeah, it's a good time. Like those SMK, I mainly am interested in like Alps. So like, I don't bother with other switch types right now. I really want to complete my Alp. I want to go after the Alps boards that I have in mind, and then we'll just kind of go from there. To be completely honest. Finishing getting these ones going. Nice. Awesome. Got those going. Almost done with the Afro, and then we'll just do our main alpha and number cluster, folks, and then we should be good, honestly. Nice. Alright. I think we got it going. Yeah, boy. Yeah, I feel like, hey man, new PCs are always a good time. You want to prep a keyboard, which is good. So I want to just check how my solder joints are coming along. And I think we're looking pretty good on this one, which is really nice. Again, this board is pretty good. Just making sure everything looks good. Yeah, but overall alignment looks fantastic. So, yeah, we are golden. Looking pretty good. But yeah, that looks just awesome. So now we just gotta do our main alphas and numbers, and it should be that good. So, all right, let me just get some more solder lead out because got a ton of more switches we still gotta do. You know, there's over 100 switches on this one, so probably about 110 to be completely honest. So let's get it going. Let's do our number row. Just kind of work our way through. Nice. Getting it going, folks. Cool. Awesome. Looking pretty good. So, I mean, building them is always pretty good. You never know. But pre-builts are fine too. I mean, the thing with like just building, as someone who's built a lot of PCs in their time, it's like, not everyone wants to build them themselves, and sometimes there's a lot of benefits to getting the pre-builts, because like, one thing if you build a PC yourself, if parts go wrong, you don't have any warranty really. It's just kind of on you to fix it, or buy a new part. So there is benefits of pre-builts, but most of the built PCs that I've dealt with, again, I usually just build myself. Like, I just see like PC building as like adult Legos. Like, they're very expensive Legos, but they're really cool adult Legos. So, I mean, my rig over here next to my computer is like a pretty beefy rig. I mean, I built it a couple years ago, and it's gonna last me a few more years. Because like with me with my PCs, like I build a PC maybe like once every, I don't know, 5 to 8 years. So like I'm not a person, I need to get a new graphics card every time a new graphics card generation comes out. When I build a rig, I want to keep it for a few years and get my money's worth. So like when I rebuilt my rig back in 2023, like I went all out and got like top tier components. Because I knew I'm going to keep this, it'll probably be till like the late 2020s when I'm ready to rebuild the PC again. So yeah, I like holding on to my rigs for a long time. So yeah, all right. Numbers are good. We just got to do our alphas, and then we are pretty much ready to go. We'll start testing. Yeah, honestly, my honest recommendation, if you do a pre-build, like that's a great way to do it. There's a good upgrade path. Like that's the benefit of a PC is you can upgrade it over time. So if you get like if you spec it out correctly, you can definitely give yourself a lot of opportunity to upgrade stuff later on. Like if you want to add a more like SSD storage, you want to add more RAM. Like if you want to put in a more beefy graphics card later down the line. Like that's the cool thing about PCs, whereas like a console, you're kind of locked into whatever type of hardware they build in the console. So, and also like PC gaming has just like blown up over like the last like 10 or so years. So like I remember growing up, like PC gaming was more this like niche, obscure thing. Like it was more for enthusiasts, people who were like really into tech. But it's become so accessible and so easy to do now. Like honestly, everyone should just build their own gaming PC. And the thing is, you don't have to spend a lot of money. I've done some gaming PC builds for people that are like super, super cheap. So like I had a friend, like their budget was literally like $300. So we did a lot of used parts and we built a really cool rig for a very inexpensive price. So that's the kind of cool thing with regards to PC gaming is like there is something for everyone at every single price point, and I think that's the one thing that's really nice about it. It's not just like, oh, I have to spend like $2,000 on a gaming PC. You do not have to spend that kind of money. Like there are some really great options for like super, super budget computers, and there's a lot of great videos on YouTube and guides online to like build super budget computers. So like there's something for everybody, but it's also kind of cool like watching like YouTubers like Linus Tech Tips go like completely balls to the wall and build like $10,000 computers. It's just kind of cool to see like what you can do when you like max out everything in terms of like performance and price. Like that's definitely fun. Like I'm not saying I don't enjoy seeing crazy stuff like that. My rig, my personal computer too, is pretty crazy, balls to the wall. Like I put a 4080 in it, I put 64 gigs of RAM, I put 4 terabytes of SSD storage, I put a 14900K in it. It's all custom water cooled, which on the topic of PCs, don't ever custom water cool your computers. It looks really cool and the temperatures are really nice too, but like it's so much freaking effort and so much hassle. I do not recommend custom water cooling. It's just such a pain in the butt. Oh yeah, dude. I mean, prices were insane. Like, for example, like I built my original gaming PC in 2015, and it was a great build. It had like an NVIDIA 980, like it had a 6700K, a great little build. I was in college. I kind of went all out for a college kid, but I saved my pennies and was able to build a super sick rig. But like right before the pandemic hit, I was like, okay, I think it's time to like start my rig. I started seeing degradation in my system, and I'm like, it's not running games like newer games the way I would like it. And then the pandemic hit, and PC components like went through the freaking roof because everyone was like buying building computers to do stuff at home, like whether they're like a home gaming set, building a home office, but also like crypto mining. Yeah, dude, like crypto mining was also like kind of crazy. Like with the crypto mining boom during the pandemic, like you couldn't get anything. Like a graphics card that was like $200 was going for almost $1,000. Like it was crazy. So I didn't upgrade my rig. So through the pandemic, like I was locked at home. I was working from home. Like it got the job done for what I was doing virtually, and I played a bunch of video games. And I just kind of dealt with it. But like once like we kind of got out of COVID, I realized, okay, it's time to like I don't think prices are going to get any better. So I upgraded the rig. So that's why I put like a 4080. And I was kind of bummed because I wanted a 4090. But like when I bought my 4080, like there were no 4090s. I couldn't get them. I couldn't get my hands on one. So I just said, screw it. I don't play at 4K. I do 1440. I don't need the extra power of the 4090. And my 4080 does everything I need it to, like whether it's video editing, streaming, gaming, like also just general productivity. Like my 4080 is more than sufficient for my use case. Like it would have been cool for bragging rights to have the 4090, but like I'm cool with the 4080. So, and I mean also, especially when we're like rendering stuff and like uploading the stuff to YouTube, like again, like having like the VRAM of the 4080 and also the 64 gigs of RAM and then like the beefy Intel CPU definitely like leverages it. I mean, the one thing about it though, I'm glad it's water cooled because like I have a 14900K and those things get ridiculously hot. And also the 4080 gets pretty hot. So like having them underwater is like pretty nice. Like I have a pretty, like my rig is pretty cool. I have to like service my water cooled PC probably really soon. So probably around Christmas, New Year's, I'll probably have to like drain my computer and like fully tear it down and clean all the parts. That's the one thing, like water cooling and custom PCs is really cool. It's just a lot of maintenance and it's a lot of testing. Like when if you're going to water cool your computer, make sure you get all the like tools to like test it and test pressure. Because like the worst thing with the water cooled PC is if you get a leak. So like whenever like I tear down my rigs and when I originally built the water cooled PC, like I had all the tools to test pressure and to test for leaks. Yeah. Oh yeah, dude, it's pretty great. Like, I mean, like when you get into the custom keyboard scene, like everyone wants a full size, but in the reality, when you get into the custom keyboard scene, full sizes aren't really common, and if you do get full sizes, they're really expensive. So like TKLs, which basically just chop off the numpad, are probably the most popular within the custom scene, followed by like 60s and like 65%. Like those are going to be like your three most popular keyboard sizes. Like full sizes have their place, but they're just really, really expensive. Yeah, so at the keyboard, yeah, I think so. So I think they're really cool. So like I think there's really cool like opportunities, and also when you go over to Asia, like the custom keyboard scene and just like custom tech scene is kind of crazy. Like you go to like Japan, China, South Korea, it's just kind of it's like its home crazy world. They're like hella into it, but also like over there, like it also comes from the place like people are very technologically connected, but also the esports are huge over in East Asia. Like especially you go to like South Korea, people like go all out on like their gaming setups and like what equipment they're using. Like and esports over in East Asia is crazy. Like they'll fill up like freaking 60,000 seat stadiums for people to show up for an esports tournament or an esports final. It's crazy. So it's like it's a whole different culture over in East Asia. Like when I went to China a few years ago, like just seeing like I remember going to like a mall, and the whole mall was just technology. Like if you needed smartphones, you needed cameras, you needed computer components. If you want to make your own stuff from scratch, there were shops that would like make electronics from scratch for you. Like it was really, really cool. Like when you go into those like electronics markets in East Asia, like especially in like China, it's so freaking cool seeing all those like tech shops. I definitely would love to go back because it's just such a cool little world. And there was a city I got to visit when I was in China called Shenzhen. And it's like basically like Silicon Valley in China. Yeah, I went to China I lived in China for 2 months when I was in high school in 2012. So I've been all over the country of China. Like pretty much I've been to all of the major cities within that country. And we were there for 2 months, and we were one of my friends that I grew up with. His father's like really good friend is a really renowned professor in China, and so they invited us to go to China. And we were there for 2 months, and we literally saw anything and everything in that country. It's really cool, and I will tell you, like if you ever get the opportunity to go to China, my kind of stance on China is like their government kind of sucks, but the people are awesome. Like going to China, like the thing that really was cool when I visited China, like you hear, like as an American, you hear all these like preconceived notions of like how people are, and you realize like a lot of people in China like genuinely love Americans and like love American culture. Like most people in China listen to American music, they watch American TV shows, watch American movies, they wear American clothes. Like, contrary to what you hear in the news media, like a lot of like your average everyday person in China is actually really, really likes Americans, which is pretty interesting, especially like the younger generations. They really like American culture and things like that. So it was really cool. And it was awesome too because I kind of when I went to China, I got to see both sides of the country. And my friend's father's friend who was showing us around the country, he got to show me, I I'll never forget this quote from him. We were in the Olympic Village that they used for the 2008 Olympics. And we were right next to the Bird's Nest, like that big stadium that they built for it. And he said, if this is all people saw of China, they would think China's a very rich country. But if someone went to the Chinese countryside and that's all that they saw, they would think China's a very poor country. So the one thing I really appreciated, I got to see both sides of the country. Like I got to see like the cities and the parts that like most tourists are only ever going to see. But we also got opportunities to go to like the rural countryside and like just see how your people outside of the cities how they live. And most people live pretty simple simple lives, which is pretty cool. So, like, that's the one thing about China. Like, yeah, there's a lot of tensions geopolitically between, like, the U.S. and, like, the Chinese government. But, like, your average everyday Chinese citizen is actually just a normal person wanting to live their lives, which is really cool. So, I'm really glad I got to see that. Again, I know it's been over 10 years. I know a lot's changed in the past decade or so in China. But, like the experience that I had was relatively positive. And again, I would love to go back because the people and the culture are really, really awesome. And then, yeah, dude, Amazon's going to have, Cyber Monday is a week from Monday. So, like, there's definitely going to be a lot of good tech deals. If you want to buy, like, tech stuff, like, whether it be on, like, Black Friday or Cyber Monday, there's definitely going to be a lot of good tech deals. All right, cool. So, we got all of our switches in. So, they're all soldered in. Oh, these are very nice white Alps. These clean up clean. So, we're going to grab our cable and also our adapter. And we're going to get that plugged in and kind of queued up. So let me get this plugged into my PC. Let's also disconnect my main board, my other keyboard I have on screen here. So let's get this puppy plugged in. And we're going to kind of go from there. So we're going to keep this. I learned my lesson from the last build we did. We're not going to be plugging in the connector and unplugging it because that caused problems in the last board. There we go, folks. So we're just going to kind of leave that there. We're going to make sure our ground wire isn't shorting too, because that's no bueno. So, awesome. Let's just kind of get a piece of plier to hold that down. There we go. And then let's plug this in. Let's get our DIN connector in here, and there we go. So, all right. Let's see how we can do it. I've done tape mods. Again, the thing is, like with a lot of those mods, like again, I primarily deal with the high-end side of keyboards. So a lot of those mods that are like really common, like the tape mod, like force break, also like adding foam to keyboards. That's more common. That like a lot of times that was earlier, like more of a COVID thing. People would do that to kind of make the keyboard sound better. But like for me, if you're getting into a high-end keyboard, like keyboard that's like $400, $500, $600, like that keyboard, because of its price point, should be good to go right out of the box. You should not have to do any type of modifications to the keyboard, because if you're paying that much, it should sound that good right out of the box. So like most of the boards that I've done are going to be more of your like entry level boards, like Keychron's, High Ground boards, things like that, Corsair boards. Again, there's nothing wrong with those boards, but those boards have more of an entry level price point between like $100 to $200, maybe or sub $100. So like those boards definitely benefit from those types of mods. But like again, when you're getting into the super high-end keyboards, you really shouldn't be doing those type of mods to those keyboards, because those keyboards should be engineered and designed to not have to need those things. And also, if you're paying that much money, the keyboard should be absolutely perfect. Because I've also dealt with some high-end keyboards that absolutely sucked, and I'm like, why did you charge $500+ for this thing? Like, that's absolutely insane. So, all right, we're going to go to my switch tester, and we're going to start testing these puppies. Also, I got to test my dim switches, too, on this thing. So, let's go to VIA. Let's get this puppy tested. Awesome. All right, we're doing our numpad. We're working. These switches were in 4 is not working. Dang it. Okay. So, awesome. Unlock light works. All right, I'm gonna write some of the keys that need to be replaced. So let me do this. So keys to be replaced. So I'm just gonna write them down. Okay. I'm just keeping a tally of what keys need to be replaced. Now we're gonna skip the 8K cluster because that one's a little bit weird. Okay, Alt. That's good. That's good. Spacebar is good. Caps lock is good. Caps lock light comes on. That's good. Awesome. Awesome. Okay, we got our -1. That's not working. So we got 3 so far. Yeah, so these are really clicky. So these are clicky switches, for sure. And these switches sound really great, really resonant. We have our 3 that's not working. Oh, wait, never mind. That's working. All right, 2 is not working. Cool. Again, these are 30-year-old switches, so it would make sense we don't have... I'm going to do that bracket because that's just being weird. That bracket one's being weird, so we'll come back to that one. So we're testing our alphas right now. I doesn't work. Oh, creamy. So clicky, thocky, or creamy. I'll go clacky. So like creamy and thocky would be more deeper sound profiles. I don't like that. I like high pitched sound profiles for keyboards. So like people, and again, the thing that's great about the keyboard hobby is there's literally something for everybody, and it's very This is a very subjective hobby. So what feels and sounds good to one person may not sound or feel good to another person. And that's the thing I tell people. Ignore what people see on the internet, with like when you post your keyboard or whatnot, or like what sound profile you want. Because at the end of the day, it's your keyboard, and you want to build it to how you want it, and make it work for you. So that's like the interesting thing I always tell people, like build your keyboard the way you want it. That's just what my honest recommendation is. Don't go with any trends. Like, and again, if it feels and sounds good to you and you take it to a keyboard meetup and people say, hey, this sucks. So I'm like, well, good for you. It's not your keyboard. So that's what I just tell you. Because again, it ultimately is a tool and expression of you. And you want it to just, again, express you. So yeah, Thocky switches are really, really good. I have some switches that sound really, really deep. Like, I have boards that sound deep, but they're just different. So let me go. Okay, delete is being weird. Okay, insert's good. Okay, down arrow. That's good. Nah, it's all right. Peace. We're just figuring it out. Okay, scroll lock works. Home works. End doesn't work. Okay, I got to look at the layout of this board because this board is really weird. So let me go to my thingy really quick. I got to look at my images of this board because this board's really... again, the 8K cluster always trips me up on where stuff is. So... yeah, this board cleaned up really nice, though. Okay, end is being weird. End doesn't work. Page down's good. Down arrow's whack. Page up is good. Pause doesn't work. Okay, that's fine. Scroll lock is good. Print screen is good. Oh yeah, these ones really aren't going to work. Okay, let's test my F really quick. Okay, F12 doesn't work. F1. What the heck? Give me a second. That is weird. Oh, wait, that's the wrong keyboard. That is so weird. This is my escape. This is an alt. Interesting. That is so weird. Okay. All right, I think we got our, and then these ones are not working, unfortunately. Let me go to, all right, I want to go back over to my window. I want to go to a keyboard tester. Give me a second. All right, these are just not going to have. Give me a minute. Let's go to this one. All right, those are just going to be decorative ones. Okay, cool. Awesome. All right, friends, we're going to get that going. So, all right, folks, we have pretty good stuff now. So we have a decent list of switches we got to swap out. So let's get the desolder gun out, and we're going to get going. So let's unplug this board, and we are going to... There we go. All right, we're going to move our converter right there. Let's move this out of the way. And let's start working on getting switches desoldered. So, all right. We got a nice amount of switches we got to go through. All right. Let's put that to the side. So, yeah, this is going to take time. So, here we go, friends. So, we'll get that puppy heated up, and we'll kind of go from there. So, all right. So, yeah, we're going to get... This is an invaluable tool I have right here. My Hacko FR301. I could not imagine working on Alps without that particular tool. It just makes my life 1,000 times easier. So, but yeah, these are great. Great switches. So looking really good. But yeah, cleans up really nice actually, this board. So all right, we are heated up. So let's go through our list and figure out what we gotta do. So 4 on the numpad. Let's figure that out. I'm gonna get my little Via, where are you? There we go. Just gonna move it over here. There we go. Cool. All right, so number 4 is gonna be first. So let's get that one desoldered. Number 4 is gonna be right here. All right, second one up. Let's get that one desoldered. All right, got that one. Got number 4. Awesome. Get that one out. And then what's going to be our next one? Number 4. Let's go to our 8K cluster first. Oh, F12 and F1 we can do. Okay. Let's do F1. Okay, got that. And this one, perfect. Awesome. Got that one out. Nah, it's all good, my man. It's all good. So we're just currently what we're doing is we are desoldering switches that are faulty, and then we're going to swap them out and test them. So this is the part that usually takes a little bit. We have quite a few switches we got to figure out. So delete. Let's figure out where delete is. So delete. Okay, so my delete is going to be right here. All right. So this is where my delete button is. Let's get that one. Awesome. Let's get delete pulled out. So we got quite a few we got to pull. Okay, delete. See what our next one is. Our down arrow. So that down arrow has to get pulled. So cool. Got our down arrow. Perfect. Next one. End and pause. So pause and end right there. Let's do those two. So this is just a process. So end and pause. Okay, so those are those. Let's just get that out of there. There we go. Awesome. So faulty switches, essentially what I do is I desolder them and I put in new switches. So I don't really have a good way of testing switches. So I literally just, again, I open up like a switch tester, like the one in VIA. And then what I do is, again, I just go through, I test switches, making sure they're registering correctly. Now, if they're not registering correctly, then I desolder them and I put in a new switch. Ooh, I have a bot in the chat, everybody. Look at that. I get my best viewers on streamboo.com. No, go away. No bots. I'm good. I want legitimate viewers. I want someone, if someone's going to be here, I want them to be here because they want to be here, not because I bought viewers. So I want legitimate viewers here. So, okay, I'm deleting some of the ones I already put. Okay, and then 4 in the numpad. And then we have a few in kind of our number and alpha cluster we got to go through. All right, so our next one is going to be our hyphen right here. So we'll do that one next. Let's get that one. Awesome. Let's pull that hyphen out and we'll get going. Perfect. Got that one. Next one is going to be our number 7 and number 3. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So all right. Get 3 and 7 out. Perfect. Nope. Get that out. Perfect. And then we just have some alphas we got to do. And we'll be done. So we got to do our bracket, I and U. So bracket, I and U. Okay, cool. So our bracket right there. Perfect. All right. So bracket P O I So we're just pulling them out. So bracket, and then these two. Cool. They should just slide out. Perfect. Now, still have a few more. We have about 5 more switches. So, okay, A and S are going to be here. A and S. So let's do that. Let's grab that one really quick. Cool. A and S, and then M and C. So C will be right there, 3 in. And then how many over from C? So C, V, B, and M. Cool. That's not actually that bad for... So these are our switches that are faulty. So there we go, folks. So let's solder these puppies in. So let's get some new switches and we're going to kind of get going. So there we go. Put those over to the side. And let's get some new switches. We're going to kind of go slowly. So we'll start off with our numpad and our AK cluster. And we'll put in some new switches here and see if we can get that all working. And then we'll move on to kind of our main alpha cluster. So main one is let's start off with the 8K cluster. So let's get that one going. Let's get my vent powered up. Let's get all that solder sucked up. There we go. All right, let's go to this 8K cluster in numpad and let's get that fixed. So this is pretty good. Okay. Got that going. Oops. Let's push that over to the side. So we got those on. So let's get our cable over here. Let's get that plugged in. All right, let's get this adapter in here. Oops. All right, let's get that plier over here. Just kind of hold that. Perfect. All right, let's go to VIA and let's just reset everything. Let's try this. Four is still being weird, so we'll take a look at that one. Delete is good. Insert's good. Down arrow is good. Let's go to pause. Pause is still faulty. Print screen is good. Scroll lock is good. Home. End is good. Page down, page up. So 4 and pause are being weird. Okay. So let's get those desoldered and we'll kind of go from there. We're going to leave our cable attached. So let's Just don't want to keep detaching it and reattaching it. So this is part of our process. So we're going to get number 4 off right there. Ah, it would help if I plugged in the solder gun. There we go. All right, so this is just part of the process in troubleshooting. And that's just kind of part of what I like. This is kind of the part of the process I really like of working with these vintage boards. So this is going to be really cool. So we're just working with these faulty boards. Let's get this, wait for that red light to come on, and we'll kind of see what we can do there. So, all right, just waiting for that red light to come on, and then we should be good. Come on, come on. There we go. So let's desolder this. Oop, we got a clog. Fun. Ah, there it is. There's your problem. It's okay. It's okay. This happens when you use a lot of solder. So, good times. Okay, and then where's that pause button? It's in a weird spot. Right next to our num block, right there. Cool. All right, let's flip those over. Let's get that going. So let's pull these out really quick. So our number 4. And then our pause. And then we're going to put in a couple new switches and see what's up with that. That's really weird. Let's flip them over. Let's get these puppies soldered in. So I just want to do our 8K and our number and then move on to our alphas next. All right, let's test that. Oh, hit the microphone. Sorry if you're listening with headphones. All right, let's do this a test. Oh, help if I plugged it in. Okay, 4 is working. Pause is still being weird. All right, so I'm gonna try one more switch and see what's up with that. That's weird. So I think I'm gonna desaw that one and come back to pause because that's really weird. We're gonna try this switch in another area. So. All right, let me try this over in my F1. And then let's get that F12 in here. Let's fix our F row and then move on to our numbers and our alphas. So we're just kind of twisting up this cable, so let's be careful with that. Perfect. All right, let's get that going. Yeah, we're going to come back to that pause button. That's really weird. So, okay, we'll do our... Cool. All right. Let's flip that around. Let's do a test. Let's put my solder gun up there. Let's reset everything. Let's plug her in. Scroll lock. Oh, it's good. Our numlocks work. That's nice. So F12. F12 is good. So that's nice. We just got to fix that F1. So, okay, so let's do F. Let's fix F1 over here. Let's flip her over. Let's pull out that F1. Cool. This is just part of the process that's very slow. So this is just kind of the troubleshooting. This is kind of what I mean. A lot of the vintage Alps builds, just why they take so much time, is a lot of this troubleshooting. That's just what takes time on these boards, for sure. All right. Let's plug them in. Let's deconnect. There we go. Cool. That's good. Awesome. So let's unplug this and let's get a next, let's do our next kind of row. Just kind of going slow but steady as we kind of go through these. And again, these other switches, it's just the switch plates that are faulty, so I'll just swap out switch plates on those, so those switches will eventually get new life. So, I'll just couple this. Just kind of go through that vent in. Alright. Cool. Looking good. Oh, well, that's just freaking delightful. Look at that. I melted my cable. Ooh, fun. Wow. Well, that's fun. Well, look at that. Let me scrape that off. That's not fun. That's not fun at all. Look at that, friends. Well, well, delightful. Well. There we go. Well, there you go, folks. It happens. I almost burned my house down. It's okay. I'll wrap that in electrical tape. It's fine. I'm not too worried about it. It's okay. It's fine. Hey, that's what happens when you do stuff alive and you see dumb stuff like that happen, and like, yeah. Good times, everybody. Good times. Make sure I don't burn this cable. God. Actually, don't. That little vent thing is like $30 on Amazon. I could care less. Really don't want to have to burn the cable. It's okay, everybody. Hey, that's what happens here, man. It's all good. It's why you do stuff live and you get to have everyone laugh at you. It's great. Please laugh at that, folks. It's pretty great. Okay, that's still being fault. Okay. 7's good. Okay, 2 is being weird. Okay, I'm going to try one thing. So let's unplug this. Hyphen's being weird. So let's try this hyphen really quick. I want to just try something. So, yeah, we're just getting this going. So let's grab that spring really quick. There we go. Awesome. Let's, where'd my pliers go? There we go. Let's just compress the switch plate really quick. Sometimes that works. That 2 for sure is not registering, so we'll get that 2 fixed. We'll desolder that number 2. All right, let's just try that really quick. Hyphen's good, but that 2 is not. 2 is not registering. Yeah. Cool. Let's fix that. All right. So, 1 right here. Cool. Let's pull that out. We gotta fix our 1 switch too, because there's an issue. I'll show you. Point out an issue I came in across. There we go. So we got to open up my number 1 switch right here because I didn't put a click leaf in this switch. It's linear. And that's not good. Yeah, there's no click leaf in this one. Oops. So one thing with Alps, folks, is what gives you that clicking sensation is there's a little piece of steel, stamped steel, called the click leaf, and I didn't put it in there. So we're going to chuck this switch to the side because we need to put a click leaf in this one. So that little click leaf is what gives us that kind of distinct Alps clicky noise. If you remove that click leaf, you turn your Alps from clicky Alps into linear Alps. And linear Alps are just kind of whatever. So clicky Alps are where it's at. So cool. Let's just fix that really quick. Thank you, tool. All right, now it's clicky. It's not linear anymore. Cool. Good times, everybody. Let's put that number 2 in. Let's get that soldered in, and we'll get it going. Let's make sure I don't burn my cable for that thing again. Well, there we go, friends. God, can't do anything right today, folks. It's crazy. Again, the workbench, definitely workbench, aka my desk. Definitely could use some more space, I guess, in the future. All right. Awesome. Man, that sucks. It's okay. It's all good, everybody. All right, so let's put that ground wire over there. Let's plug this in again, and let's do our test. Awesome. All right, let's reset my switch tester, and let's just double. All right. Cool. All right, those are good so far. Let's do our next row, folks. We're slowly but surely getting there, everybody. So let's do our next row of faulty switches, and we'll get some replacements in there. We'll kind of go from there. Cool. Let's flip it over. Let's unplug it. Let's get them going. Make sure that doesn't. I'm going to put that right there so it doesn't make contact with the Hacko. Good Lord. Fun times, everybody. Fun times. So, not making that mistake again. So, it's all good. Cool. Fantastic. Let's get that going. Let's flip her over. Let's plug her in. Let's do some testing. Again, this is the method to my madness for sure. Good. Cool. That row's good. Let's put in our A and our S. Yeah, screw it. I'll put it in the last 4. We are almost there, folks, to being complete with this board. Then we're going to figure out what the heck's going on there. That's really weird. All right. Let's solder those in. Boop. Let's turn this puppy on. All right. All right, let's get that going. Let's test those. Let's plug her back in. There we go, friends. All right, let's get that via in there. Thank you, friends. Awesome. Okay, our main alpha cluster. I want to look at my J really quick. Okay, my L is being weird. So I'm just going to compress that switch plate for L. And then I think we'll be good. So I just want to compress that switch plate. It's just probably not making enough contact. Cool. Usually just squeeze everything. Everything just kind of sandwiches in there. Cool. And let's just flip that over and just get that in there. All right, let's plug that in, just see if that L registers a little bit better. There we go. All right, we're good there. All right, let's figure out what the heck's going on with that pause. So I'm going to pull off a switch I know works, and I'm going to put it in there. So that's just part of my troubleshooting and my methodology. So let's unplug the vent. Let's plug the Hacko back in. Get the Hacko fired up. I'm going to take this switch and put it up there. So let's figure this out, everybody. Let's see what we got. So again, this is the part that takes time. So pretty much everything works. I just want to figure out what the heck's going on with pause, because that's really weird. I mean, I never use pause, but like my OCD wants every single switch to work on this damn thing. So come on. Come on. There we go. Cool. All right. I'm going to take that switch. Oops, sorry for the microphone. I'm going to take that switch off, and we're going to put it in the pause area, because that's really weird. And now we're going to solder that in. Let's see if that works. If not, that switch will probably it'll be for show. But I would like it to work, even though I never use it. So I'm truly thinking, what do I use pause for? It's probably just an outdated button. Someone tell me what that button does. I never use it. So, all right. There we go, friends. Let's try this again. All right, cool. All right, let's reset. All right, so it's working, which is good. It's making really weird, so I'm just going to compress the switch plate. And then we should be good for this switch, and then we'll just put a new switch down here. Just put a new one in there, and then we should be good with switches. So that's a good thing. So let's just compress this, and then pause should be pretty good. There we go. That usually works. Let's put our spring back. Cool. All right, let's plug that in. And we should be pretty good. So let me see. Okay. Okay, I want to go to a different switch tester. Just see that pause is registering. So I'm going to go over here. Okay. All right, pause is working. We're good. All right, let's just solder in this last one. Make sure everything works, and then we'll be good. And then we'll probably mount everything in the case, to be completely honest, and then we'll do stabs. So. Do one last verification of everything, but I think we're good here. We'll put the Hacko away. I think we're pretty much done with the Hacko, so let me put that away, let it cool down. So let's flip this board over. All right, let's just do a reset really quick. It's going good. That's good. So far, so good. Just retesting everything, and then we'll get ready to mount everything in the case. Did I solder my C in? My letter C is being weird. No. Oh, letter C is just dead on arrival. Okay, we gotta get the Hacko out again. Damn. Because that C was working. Now it's not. Bruh. No bueno. So let's get that. Let's get the Hacko out again. I know. Just when I thought I was done, I jinxed it, everybody. Man, it's all good. Can't have anything nice. So here we are, friends. So we just got to desolder C, and then we'll put a fresh switch in. I think we should be good. Hold up. Got a clog here we got to pull out. Oh. Hold up. The Hacko's clogged. We got to unclog it. So I think the Hacko had too much Taco Bell. So there we go, everybody. Yeah, these switch plates, I mean, that's the point on Alp switches. That's what fails. I mean, I have a metric crapload of switch plates and Alps parts, so I'm chilling. But yeah, if you're the kind of person who doesn't have spare Alps parts, and this is just like the only switches you have are the ones that came with your board, you can definitely be SOL. So that's why I always tell people, especially if you buy like loose Alp switches, make sure to get more than what you need. That's always a good rule of thumb. So yeah, well then, I'm glad you have. Yeah, I can like send you stuffs, and then you're like chilling. So it's all good. All right, let's get that going. Let's flip it over. Let's not burn my cable off, please. I've done that once tonight. Don't want to do that again. All right, let's get that letter C out. And we'll try this again. All right, put a new switch in. Awesome. Let's solder that in. Hopefully that letter C works, because yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, the rest of the ALF switches are pretty resilient, but the switch plate is the part that, like, is the actual electronic component in the switch that, like, has the pins you solder to the board. And that's what actually registers the signal when you press the keycap down. So that's just going to be your point of failure. So, and the thing that sucks is we can't get any new ones, so we have to just harvest them from old switches. So my rule of thumb is if you need switch plates, like, look into like old Apple extended keyboard 2s, M3501s that have the ivory switches, and just harvest those switches because they're so freaking common. That's where I got most of my spare switch plates. So I have a metric crap load of them. There we go. Awesome. All right, let's try this again. Let's get that letter C. All right, we're money, everybody. All right, we're good. All right, so now we're done with the soldering equipment. So I'm going to turn off my soldering iron. The Hacko is pretty much done. I want to just clean the Hacko out. So let's just dump that solder and all that crap out of there. There we go. All right, Hacko's done. Let's power down the Hacko, put it away. All right, cool. We are done with this puppy. Put the Hacko tools away, and we'll let that cool down before we put it back in the closet. Cool. All right, now let's good. So let's unplug that. Let's also put our switches to the side. I want to get a little cup for these dead switch plates or faulty switch plates. We'll figure those out later. Put those up there. Cool. I'm going to detach our cable because we have to insert the cable a specific way. There we go. Cool. All right. But we're going to get ready to put this actually in the case. And then once it's mounted, because it's a bottom mount, so we're not going to put the actual top portion on just yet. So let's get our bottom case and we'll get our screws out and our feet. So these are our little feetsies that we're going to put on. Let's also get our screws and our hardware for that. Let's get our bottom case and get this going. So in the meantime, let's get our little feetsies going. So we'll put these on the bottom. There we go. Let's get this one going. Awesome. Now let's figure out which screws are which. These ones. These are going to be our... These are going to be the screws we're going with. Let's get our tools out. Kind of go from there. Just going to stick this over to the side. Cool. All right. So let's screw these puppies in. And this board was in very good condition, which was very nice. So... All right, we're going to get our cable, because this is an attached cable. So that's kind of cool with this one. So we're going to, this kind of goes in like that. And then, well, ah, crap, is it top mount? Of course it's top mount, damn it. Well, never mind. All right, I guess I'm just putting my feet on for right now because it's top mount. Oops, forgot. Well, it's okay. It's been a minute since I've torn this board down, so we're going to start stabilizers and put keycaps on because this is top mount, and that's fun. Yeah, top mount. All right, never mind. We're going back to stabs, everybody. All right, stabs and keycaps, so that's what we're going to do. All right, let's put this stuff to the side. Let's get our PCB back. Look at that. Look at this puppy. All right, let's start doing stabs. We'll get our 205G0. Let me just put my solder stuff away because we're pretty much done with that. So 205G0. Where's my little brush? That's what we kind of need. Hold up. There we go. Awesome. Let's get this one going. All right. So we're going to get our stab parts out, and we're also going to get our big keycaps out. So we're going to prep our keycaps for our lubrication. Awesome. Let's get our keycaps. Got to find our big keycaps, our stabilized ones. So we have 6 total keycaps that are stabilized in this board. 4, 2 more. 2 more caps on this one. And there we go. All right, cool. Let's put the rest of the keycaps back. This board is actually in really good condition, which is really nice. Oh no. Drop the keycap. There we go. Awesome. Put the rest of the keycaps to the side. Let's focus on getting these puppies lubed. So there we go. So we're done with our switch tester, and we're gonna get going. So let's put our clips on the bottom of these puppies, and we'll get going. So that's pretty good. So and these clips are going to kind of connect the keycap to the actual stabilizer wires. So good stuff. Awesome. And then our big ass enter, which is my favorite keycap because it has the greatest name of all keycaps. Big ass enter. That is its official name, by the way, folks. If you look at old manuals from back in the day, it says big ass enter. So, because it's a big ass enter. Cool. And then our space bar. Compress that really quick. Cool. Awesome. I think I'm going to be crazy and start off with the space bar, because why not? Normally do the space bar last, but the heck with it. Let's go. Let's do it first. So let's get our little clips over here. Cool. And let's get these posts right here. I don't like this brush. Give me a minute. Let me find my other brush. Not liking this one. I don't know. I thought I could be specific and particular about a brush, but here we are. Cool. All right. Let's lube our clips under here. All right. So medium mass enter, I do have it. What is it? I have a medium mass enter on like the Apple 2GS. So that's a medium mass enter. So medium mass enter is cool too, but we like big ass enters here. So all right, got that. Let's lube our wire really quick. Yeah, Alp space bars are notoriously the part that's the biggest pain in the butt. If I'm going to be completely honest. I forgot to leave the post here. Give me a second. Give me a second. Just get these parts of the wire that are going to make contact with the clips on the bottom. All right, let's get this wire clipped in. There we go. That is clipped in, so add a little bit more lube with the wire connects. Awesome. All right, so I'm going to add a little bit more lube there. Perfect. That's good. Oh, dude, I got a bunch. I'm almost done with my vintage Apple collection. I need like 2 more keyboards, and then my vintage Apple collection will be complete. At least for what I want. So, yeah, no, my vintage collection is it's definitely been growing and getting some really, really cool stuff. So let's do our big ass enter next, because those are the big ass enter and the space bar are the ones that are just kind of a pain in the butt. So, but yeah, next Keep Life, I'm probably going to take mostly vintage stuff for next year. I mean, we'll probably take other cool stuff that we've acquired too, but it'll be all Alps and mostly vintage. I will probably be fully representing the vintage scene of the hobby at Keep Life next year for sure. So, because I did the Keep Life mini meetup a couple weeks ago, and I pretty much brought all vintage keyboards. I brought 3 Northgate Omnikeys, and then we also brought out the SpongeBob build because, like, I have to bring out the SpongeBob build every meet I go to because it's a fan favorite. And people kind of expect that build. So, because the SpongeBob build is just for the memes, and it's amazing. And I love that board so much. So, I put a $65 licensed SpongeBob keycap set on a $600 keyboard because why the heck not? So, good times. Oh, dude, the SpongeBob and dude, Black Simon actually has seen my. He was looking at pictures from Keep Life, and he like lost his mind when he saw my Alp stuff. But he like loves my SpongeBob build. So, like yeah, if my SpongeBob build is definitely Black Simon approved. I have approval of the angry man of the keyboard hobby, and Black Simon's my favorite angry man in this particular hobby. So I know Black Simon. You either love him or he's the kind of figure within the hobby. You either love him or you absolutely hate him. I love Black Simon. Like I think he's a fun guy. Is he very opinionated? Absolutely. Is he very set in his ways? Yes. Is he very angry and grumpy? Absolutely. And sometimes we need angry and grumpy people. So, but if you don't want someone who's angry and grumpy, you can go watch like the likes of like amazing people like Alex Odos or like Captain Sterling for a little more positivity. But if you need a angry man who's very salty about everything, go to Black Simon. So, I don't know, and I think with Black Simon too, like, one thing I think I do appreciate from him is if something sucks or a project is bad, he's just going to say it. Like, again, does he say it in the nicest way? No. But sometimes it's just, like, I think it's really good to do that, and also just take his opinion with a grain of salt. Oh, yeah, no, dude, I love him. I love Black Simon. He pretty much just yells... And he's amazing. I love the guy. I was talking with his wife, Kate. Like, I would love to do a build for him eventually. And Kate said, oh, yeah, he'd love that. I'm like, cool. So. All right. Come on. It's always finicky getting this damn thing. Give me a second. All right, we're going to have to do a different way to get this big-ass enter on here. So we're going to do a different approach. So let me just get a little bit more lube on these wires really quick. Let me reapply that lube. Awesome. I always forget these Omnikey big-ass enters need to go on a specific way. All right, got that in. Got it in. Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. Like I think it also with Black Simon, I know his streams can be a little bit long for some people, but like if you want the most comprehensive like overview of like what's going on in terms of like news, drama, especially group buys and stuff that's on interest check, like Black Simon literally is the only person who does that. Like especially with like the interest check side of the hobby, like stuff that like people want to run, but like they don't. They're just trying to gate like see if there's enough interest to justify the project. Like absolutely, like he's probably the only person really who does that. And like I said, I really like. I think in the future I want to do a build. I really was. I've been talking with. I was talking with Kate a couple about a month ago to potentially do a project for him, which would be it's just kind of like a thank you. Which would be really cool because he's a good dude and he's running a board, his group buy board finally, because he's been designing a keyboard forever and everyone's always everyone in like all of his streams said where keyboard at, and he says it'll happen when it happens. It doesn't exist yet, and it's finally gonna happen. He's finally getting close to like running the group buy, which is cool. So, like if I wasn't committed to other projects, I would definitely join his group buy, but like, but yeah, like Black Simon for sure. Someone I definitely like one of those creators within the hobby, and he's also just an OG. Like he's been in a lot for a while. I know he's based in the Midwest now. He's not in Dubai, thank God. But like, I'd love to get him out here for like a Keep Life, which would be so sick if we could get Black Simon out here. But I don't know. Maybe I could like maybe if we can convince Kate to like let him go, it'd be super sick. Like we get Kate on board or something, that'd be awesome. So. All right, let's get that. Let's get our left shift. That's our left shift. Let's just do our backspace, and then we're halfway done with our stabs, and then we can get this damn thing top mounted, and then carefully insert it inside the case, which will be cool. Let's just get the lube in this backspace really quick. All right, cool. Got that one. We got the clips lubed and the actual wire lubed, and then we should be good. Cool. Let's get this wire lubed. All right, let's clip the wire in. Cool. Ah, it fell. No, don't want that. All right. Yeah, cool. Cool. There we go. Got that one. Let's get a little exhaust stuff over there. There we go. That sounds really good for Alps. Let's move on to let's do our 0 and then our enter. So making good progress on this one. This is a really cool board. Love it. So yeah, Omnikey is definitely my favorite vintage board for sure. So, but we're also going to be restoring an IBM Battleship really soon, which is going to be so sick. So yeah, definitely be on the lookout for the IBM Battleship project. Like that's going to be so freaking awesome when we get that board done. Because it'll be my first foray into buckling springs and like vintage IBM stuff. So that's going to be awesome. Get this one mounted. Oh, of course I lubed the wrong keycap. Bruh. It's going to put the enter where the 0 goes. Dang it. You got to pay attention to your stuff. Alright, let's just wipe that excess off really quick. Don't want that there. Cool. Just add a little bit more lube there. Cool. Now we can insert it in. Dude, I love... I'll pull out the battleship in a second. It's so cool. Cool. So where's the battleship? Here it is. So I ordered a converter so I can connect it to my computer because I want to test it before I do any type of restoration. I will most likely be bolt modding this thing because I'm not selling this keyboard. I want to keep it for a very long time. I know those plastic rivets on these things are crap. So I just got to do more research. I really am not familiar with buckling springs. So I've been watching a lot of videos, reading a lot of forum posts. So this is going to be a long-term project. I think what I will do in the meantime tomorrow is remove all the keycaps and then soak the keycaps, not soapy water, as well as the case, just to clean everything up. But in terms of the internal assembly, this is going to be more of a long-term project because I want to do it right because I don't want to mess this up. Because this is a board I freaking wanted forever, and now I finally have a battleship, and it's awesome. I love this thing. So it's going to be that project. Be on the lookout for that one. You'll definitely be seeing more of the IBM Battleship project for sure because that's just... I can't wait to get that one going. So, all right, let's get this last stab, and then we'll start putting the rest of the keycaps on. Forgot that this is tap mounted, so we gotta. I want to put the keycaps on before we put it in the case. All right, let's put this wire in. There we go. Just want to wipe off some of that excess down there. Cool. All right, let's get that last bit of lube on here. All right, put lube on the inner, so I'll just clip those in. All right, there we go, folks. So... got it going. All right, let's put those away. All right, I'm gonna need my. Let's put that away without putting the thing on. Oh no, I didn't. Let's keep this tool. Let's put my spudger away. Now we're gonna start putting keycaps on. See this crazy board come together. So, we got this 8K column. So we got all of our stabs lubed. So let's put the rest of our keycaps on. So. I'll leave my phone for this one because the layout of this board is very weird, especially with certain things like control is up here in more of a classic area. So it definitely has a funky layout for sure. So I think that's what makes this board fun and awesome. Okay, end. Where's that one going? That one goes there. So we're going to do our 8K cluster because that's awesome. Okay, scroll lock goes here. Slash goes there. Pause goes here. Okay, this alt is right there. Yeah, it's definitely a unique layout for sure on this one. Okay, delete goes right here. So delete's kind of in a weird spot for sure. And we got the T navigation on this one too. Okay, insert goes right there. Okay, tilde goes right here. That star goes right there. print screen. I'm just putting on all the gray keycaps first because that just makes life a little bit easier. Okay, numlock. We have a literal Omnikey, which I think is hysterical. So it's a literal Omnikey. So page down goes right here. F14. This one goes right here. Page up. Home is right there. That one's right there. And then there's one more gray key, which is going to be our down arrow. So there's our 8K cluster. Those are all of our weird keys. So you can kind of see how the layout's a little bit funky, but that's just kind of how it goes with these Omnikeys. So these older boards just kind of have weird layouts. So yeah, we're gonna get the keycaps on first, just because I don't with this being top mounted, I really just don't want to be putting unnecessary pressure on it. But yeah, it's filling in nice. Like, these keycaps are really clean. Like, this is one of my cleaner Northgate. I mean, just in terms of not yellowing. I mean, I don't mind yellowing, but this one. Oh, the Omnikey? I have no idea what it does. On my converter, it registers as number 5. So, I mean, I just have a basic converter that you really can't reprogram stuff. So I'm working on getting, like, proper converters where you can reprogram stuff, because I would love to have it do something fun. So, yeah, I just have the basic, like, just the ones you get on Amazon. These don't do anything, but there are certain converters you can get where you can actually reprogram keys, which is really cool. So they're just a little more expensive. I'm just cheap and lazy. So got our F12. We got our go F9. Yeah, 6 and our numpad 2. Yeah, so it's coming along. This is a really cool little board for sure. Yeah, this is super awesome. So almost done with all of our keycaps. U, I. Our F row up there. So yeah, this board was in amazing condition when we got it. Yeah, so there are converters. I can send you links. There's a guy on Discord who makes a lot of really cool converters. So and that's cool about those. You can keep the original PCB. The only quirk with the converters, every time you plug, if you just keep that converter plugged into a single board, you don't have to reprogram. But if you were to plug that converter into like another keyboard, you'd have to reprogram that keyboard. So that's the only quirk with those converters, is you really just want to keep it, when you want to switch between keyboards, you have to reprogram everything. So that's the only quirk with them. Now the Omnikeys are cool because you can get an aftermarket PCB from Alec Tardy. He makes an aftermarket PCB that fits all the Northgate Omnikey models, and it's fully QMK and QMK customizable, which is really cool. I don't want to do that because I like having the original PCBs in my Omnikeys and most of my vintage boards. But yeah, here we go. Oh, that sounds so good. These are clean. Yeah, reach out to Alec if you want an aftermarket QMK PCB for your Omnikey Plus. Reach out to Alec Tardy on Discord. I can send you a screenshot of his profile. And his PCBs are pretty reasonable, but they're like drop-ins. So you would literally just have to like drop it into the actual assembly. So let me get the top case because we got to screw the top mount in. And also I need to like plug my cable in too. So let's get that plugged in first. So let's get the cable plugged in. Because we're going to be, once this is top mounted, we don't want to really mess with this connector. So that's plugged in. So let's get my top case in. All right, let's flip this over carefully. All right, cool. We got our case. Let's get our screws for our top mount. Cool. Let's get our top mount screws and attach our top case. And we'll get going. But yeah, this is a top mounted board, which is really cool. So my Omnikey, most Omnikeys are bottom mounted. The ones that are top mounted, I know, of course, are this one and also my Omnikey Gold Badge 102. So it's kind of cool. This is a top mount board because I love top mount. Top mount is like that OG mounting style, when especially when you get into the more vintage boards. Like most of the vintage board, a lot of vintage boards you're going to find are going to be top mount. So it is the OG mounting style for sure. So let me just kind of flip it around. You can kind of see what it looks like from the top. So this top case is like hella clean. So it cleaned up really nice. There was hardly any yellowing and any damage on it. So this cleaned up really nice. So yeah, it's super sick. So yeah, so let's kind of, this also clips into place. So once this is together, I really don't want to take it apart. Just because of how fragile things are in this. Oh, that's the battleship. I don't need that. Where'd my screw go? Missing a screw. Screw it. We'll figure it out. All right, let's get my bottom case here because we need to. All right, I'm just kind of orienting stuff. There's this screw that holds it to the bottom, but we're gonna plug in. We're gonna screw this in. This is our ground wire, so we're gonna cover it, connect it to one of our feet screws, and that's gonna be sick. Cool. So there's our ground wire. Got to be careful how that all lines up. Cool. Got that cable lined up. Just kind of carefully clip stuff in. Okay, this is going to be a little harder than I thought it would be. So, I don't want to snap any of these tabs, so I got to be really careful. Yeah, it's super sick. Like, this is a really cool board. I'm going to have to do some prying. Yeah, this is the kind of board, once I get it built, I don't want to take this apart again. So that's the kind of thing about this board. It's this is going to be together till the end of time. So, hold up. Looks like I got the wrong tabs attached. Give me a second. Gotta be really careful. Okay, this one tab is being really stubborn. So I don't want to snap it. So yeah, I don't like how this case goes together. I like how my Omnikeys like mostly screw together. So that's the one thing I didn't, when I got this board, that's the one part about its build construction I did not like, is how it goes together, because that's not how my other Omnikeys go together. So like taking this board apart is a massive pain in the ass. So yeah, just gotta be really careful taking this one apart, because I don't think I clipped in the correct order. So give me a second, folks. All right, I just got to get this clip off. What's up, Sandman? What's up, dog? Crap, this is brutal. Trying to get this tab off. That's just going to damage it. Yeah, I've heard of Falcon Northwest. Crap, which YouTuber did I see them with? Yeah, Falcon Northwest was with, I've seen Jay's 2 Cents advertise Falcon Northwest. I know they make a lot of their stuff, like especially their cases, they make in-house, which I think is really cool. Alright, god dang it. Got it. God. Lord. God, this... I never want to take this board apart again. Okay, let's clip it in this way. Yeah. Okay, that's the way we want to clip it in. There we go. Oh, thank God. That was an ordeal, everybody. That sucked. So, I mean, other than that, that's only meant, like, when you say Falcon Northwest, I know there's a company called Falcon Northwest that's like a modern computer maker, like pre-built computer maker. Beyond that, I'm not familiar. All right. Let's see. All right. Cool. That's in. Let's just do this final case screw. There's a big chunky case screw at the bottom that holds the whole thing in. And then we're pretty much done with this one. Cool. All right. There we go, folks. You got to see me struggle, take a case apart. Fun. I hope everyone enjoyed my sacrifice. All right, let's see. Let's get going. All right. All right, so let me flip this around. And yeah, so there we go, folks. Here is the Northgate Omnikey 101N. So this is awesome. This is a really sick little board that we managed to pick up. And that's awesome. So this is my first Omnikey 101. So it's not your standard 101 layout. We have an 8K navigation cluster, which is really cool. Oh yeah, I mean, I can pull it. Let's go grab my other 8K. I mean, I can grab the other Omnikeys and show y'all. So let me grab the 3 other Omnikeys and we can compare them. So there's that one. Then we got the 102. So this one has a fixed cable. So I'll bring out I'll compare it to the other Omnikey. So here's my Omnikey 102 gold badge. So I think what makes this one bigger, I mean smaller than some of the other standard Omnikeys, is you don't have the F-row cluster right here, which is really, really cool. So this is my 102 with Blue Alps. So it sounds like White Alps. But yeah, really cool board. So I'll put the Blue Alps board to the side. So let me just kind of put that one. And then we have the Omnikey Ultra T right here. So this is another just kind of big board. So let me just move that cable over there. So there's another kind of big board. You can kind of see just, again, how it stacks up. But the one I really want to compare it to is this one. So this is my other 8K Omnikey that is fully restored right now, which is my Omnikey Ultra, which is awesome. Like, this board is absolutely amazing. Like, this has an 8K navigation cluster. As you can see, this one's very, very yellowed. I love how yellowed this is. I never want to get rid of this board. Like, I love the yellowing on this board. It just adds to the vibe and the aesthetic of this board. So, yeah. Hey, I like streaming. It's a fun time. So, like, it's definitely fun sharing it with people on the internet. But yeah, so here's our, but you can see, like, it's not that yellowed. So I think it's in really good, relatively good condition. Like, I think the closest comparison I have is going to be my Omnikey Gold Badge. So this is the earliest of the Omnikeys and the most... I mean, I have 5 of the 10 Omnikeys. So we have another Omnikey Plus that I need to refinish the plate. So we will be restoring that board and rebuilding it in the next few weeks. So I want to plug it in to my just kind of basic converter and just retest everything. And then we should be good to go. So let's get my little switch tester out, and then we'll test it, and then we'll do a final sound test on this one, because this is a super, super sick board, and I love it. So let's go to my switch testing area, and we'll test everything. There we go. All right, so let's do our numlock light works, which is good. That's always a good sign, because we do want our indicator lights. Perfect. Let's move that little tester over. Move my tester out of the way so I can actually see. So numlock is good. All right. Nice, that's good. Good times. Those work. Caps lock works. Scroll lock light works. All my indicator lights work, which is awesome. Just want to retest everything, so that's important. Awesome. All right, all of our buttons work, everybody. So that's pretty sick. So the one thing I do want to compare this to is I'm going to move my little hex board out of the way. I do want to compare this to the Blue Alps Omnikey. So that's going to be, because Blue Alps, like this board has Pine White Alps. So the big point of comparison for this board is going to be Blue Alps. Because Blue Alps are the earlier and I think superior clicky switch, but they're also prohibitively expensive. So Pine White Alps are kind of that nice happy middle ground that gets you like 80 to 90% of the way there for Blue Alps for that sound and feel. So, but yeah, these both have attached cables. So these are 2 early Omnikeys. So, does that answer your question, Sandman? I love this thing, by the way. So we will be restoring this thing, cleaning it up, because this is awesome. And I got the other 2 AEKs up on my shelf over here. So, but yeah, this thing's badass. Like, I love having a battleship finally. Like, this thing is Just so cool. I love it. I love it. Can't wait to like restore that thing. And also the 2 Apple extended keyboards. I can't wait to restore those. Those are going to be really nice additions. Like, I'll grab one of them. Like, I love how clean they are. Yeah, it's great. I love the AEKs too. So this is which one is this? This is the Ivory. This is the Ivory AEK. So we're definitely gonna get that one restored, and it's gonna be awesome. Let me just put that back up in the display over there. So yeah, good times. But yeah, I love the scratch. So here's my Blue Alps. So Blue Alps. Here are White Alps. So let me just put this one to the side really quick and really just kind of take a look at this board. So it's a really cool board. I think it's really nice. We do have the attached cable for this particular board. And what's nice too down here, I really like with the Omnikeys is you get switches to adjust different protocols. So I think that's a really nice feature of the Omnikeys. Now, this isn't as in-depth like my Omnikey Ultra and like my Ultra T. They have a whole like line. They have like 8 DIMM switches to switch protocols. There's only 2 here, but I think that's one thing that's really nice about the Omnikeys. I think that just kind of helped with compatibility back in the day, and I just like that feature because like, you can also switch like layouts and things like that, which I think is really cool. So let me just untangle my cable here. Yeah, I really like these attached. I like the attached cables too. Those are always just nice and very much a vibe for these particular keyboards. So, oh my gosh, this is hella tangled up. Look at that. There we go. So, really cool. So let me do a monkey type session, and then we'll get on out of here, folks. So this looks really, really clean. So let me fire up monkey type and also say hi to the peeps on Instagram. Hi, friends. All right, let's go into... Awesome. Let's go into monkey type really quick, and let's do a monkey type session. Also, you can admire my terribly slow typing because I'm very slow typist. So... Yeah, 42 words like a minute. That's usually my words per minute. I'm going like 40 to 50 words a minute. Hey, I got through college. Okay, so I turned out all right. So, but there we go, folks. I think we're going to, wrap it up there, folks. But yeah, there we go. That's the Omnikey 101N. So this is my first of the Omnikey 101 family, which is really nice. And this board is just awesome. I love this thing, how it came out. So this is a really, really sick board. Has a really funky layout, like caps lock is down here, one of the over here, like right again, right control is right here and right alt is over here. So a little bit of a funky layout, but again, the Omnikeys are just really fun and awesome boards. So yeah, and also that 8K cluster is a vibe, and also having a literal Omnikey on the keyboard is hilarious. So, all right, everybody, thank you so much. The VOD will be up on YouTube. Be on the lookout for pictures online of this board later on this evening. So it should be a good time, folks. But yeah. Thank you so much, folks.